So welcome back, everyone. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to be sharing the show in just a little bit here. My next guest has also never been on with me before. I love when I have my newbies on. I have with me Kelly Cameron, and she is the owner of In Your Truth Coaching. She's a parenting and family relationship coach. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Thank you, Carol. So great to be here. I got into coaching from all of my experience, from my background, my family background and schooling. I went into psychology, education, family studies, and just try to figure out how families work. Family dynamics really interest me and how the relationships work. And then when I had my own kids, I was terrified that I was going to ruin them. So, because I didn't have the best role models as parents. I mean, we just do the best we know how, the best that we've learned from our own parents. So I really searched high and low and did my research for a couple of decades to try to figure out how to be the best mom that I can be to my kids. So as a result, I ended up going into coaching, and I figured out that parents, families, and relationships is really my sweet spot. This is who I love to help because families are so important, relationships are so, so important. And so what I do with my coaching business is I work with parents that are, they've got a lot of chaos and conflict and challenge going on in their families. And so we take that and we dial it way back so that they can, maybe rekindle that spark between the partners, enjoy raising their kids again, focus on their businesses. It frees up a lot of time and energy to do that, and really just be the parents that they wish that they had had.
So right now we're dealing with a lot of issues, especially with this COVID world that we're living in right now. And people have their kids around more so than ever, and there's a lot of turmoil, and a lot of, I would say more than even turmoil, just misunderstandings and not truly knowing how to handle things. When you work with your families, how do you work with them?
So I work with the parents. I don't typically work with the kids because, like a corporation, it's from the top down. So the parents are setting the tone and the structure for the family, just like in a corporation. Not that we're running our families like a corporation, but a little bit like that. So I work directly with the parents, and
I was going to say, I don't think so. I mean, because otherwise if it was, it would probably be more structured, but anyway.
Would be more structured. And as far as the logistics of how I meet with my clients is we meet over phone or by Zoom, and especially with COVID, Zoom has been really popular, so we do that quite a bit. So
right.
I'm very COVID friendly in my sessions.
And so far that's been the buzzword now, for the last, few months here now. So when you work with people, you say that you do an assessment with them. I want to talk about that because we're going to open up the lines to the audience, and we're going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show for it. It's an assessment, and what does that entail?
So I start all my new clients with an assessment. It's an energy leadership index assessment, and it's not like a personality assessment. It is really an assessment of where you are at right now with attitudes, beliefs, values, and most importantly, where you're stuck. What are your blocks? What is keeping you from moving forward and just keeping you stuck in just those same patterns? So the assessment helps us figure out what those blocks are and how to break through them and move you forward.
Who takes the assessment? The parents or the kids or everyone?
The parents.
Okay, so you people listening out there, it does start with us at the top. It's us. And we need to know how to handle things differently, and I think it's learning that because we can learn to obviously mold them once we know how to do that, right?
Absolutely.
So we've got our lines open here for this assessment test. You tested, you called it Energy, Leadership, and Personality?
Index.
Oh, index, that's what
Assessment.
it was. And what's an index?
It's just it's what the assessment is called.
Okay,
Yeah.
And so it's an Energy Leadership Index assessment. Everyone's getting entered in to win it. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. That's a $400 value, free to you or anyone you know. And I say anyone you know here too because, we have a lot of grandparents taking care of the kids now, other families that are taking in kids. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are taking, it's not just the parents of the children anymore. So, and we're going to let you call throughout the rest of the show. Now, you're on Facebook at In Your Truth Coaching, okay?
Yes.
and we're going to talk about what the Empowered Family Blueprint that you created. But right now, I want to also say that you also offer free 30-minute consultations for people to sit down and talk to her, and kind of get to know where you're at with it. And then I'd get the assessment. I'd do that. The phone number to call her direct at 602-448-4266. And then, of course, we've got our lines open here for everyone to get that $400 entered in to win that assessment. 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You invented, you said this, you created the Empowered Family Blueprint. What is it?
So after decades of schooling and education and training and my own family experience, I created this empowered family blueprint to help my families move through just different stages of how to process and look at their families differently. So we start off with a family mission foundation. So again, kind of the corporate tie-in here is every organization has a mission and some values. So we want to know where you're headed and how you're getting there. So we do that with our families. What are our values and where are we going? What is our mission statement? And then we move into authentic communication and connection, because you can't have a relationship without it. And so that's so important, not just between the partners, but with the kids. How are you connecting with your kids? How are you communicating? Are you having family meetings, and how are those going? So super
Family meetings
important.
sounds like a lot of fun.
You can make it lots and lots of fun.
Well, when you work with you realize how you can do that and how to implement them so that they do. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's important for everyone to have a voice in the family.
What else is on your blueprint?
So the third pillar is mindful parenting. So parenting is so important, and my take on parenting is that it's not the old style of discipline, punishment, control, that this is what you have to do, and then by the time we're 40 or 50, we have to unravel all the things that happened to us in our childhoods. Each person has their own journey and their own path, and our kids do too. So guiding and supporting and helping set a good foundation, a solid foundation for our kids. So
Doesn't it sound wonderful?
It does.
And here's the thing, though. I might just be real here for a minute, because a lot of parents now are older parents.
Mhm.
When you said, you're different than what they were, completely different. But also, what makes it hard too is, look, we've got our kids home now. We are trying to work. We're even juggling more than we ever have. And just because we're home doesn't mean that it's easy. And dealing with your kids and being an older parent too, I'm one. Things were different. I see people that are younger that have children, and they're like young kids, and I'm thinking, God, if I only did that, right? But at the same time, I brought a lot to the plate, but still, it's very difficult. So this kind of thing that you work with when you talk to people, how do you get them, as you say, you start with the parents, or you're working with them, but do the kids ever come involved too? Because they might want to have a voice in all of it.
Sometimes we do like a VIP day where I will actually go into the home and assess the family. I see how their routines, their connections, and how they deal with each other, how they connect with each other, and the dynamics, and I have suggestions for how to make it better.
Do you make them promise not to be on their best behavior?
Yes, I want to see the real
real people. Now, her number to call direct, it's 602-448-4266. She does do free consultations. She's on Facebook at In Your Truth Coaching, and she created the Empowered Family Blueprint. Interesting how you're taking it from a whole different perspective of maybe a corporate world, Everything else has gone corporate. Why not parenting?
Why not?
Right?
Yeah.
So again, we've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win this assessment. It's good. There's different levels of it, but it's a Energy Leadership Index assessment that you get entered in to win. That's a $400 value free to you or someone that you know. Our number here is 602-277-5369, and toll free it's 1-866-536-1100. What is the number one breakdown that you see in families?
It's the communication, really. Not having that authentic communication. There's no connection. You're not having the conversations. The couples are not having the uncomfortable, difficult conversations. They're just avoiding. And so it just trickles down to the kids, and it makes everything chaotic.
So when we talk about kids and there's kids, right? There's some older kids too. And we're parenting our older kids too now. So does this work for both young and older kids?
Absolutely. Relationships are relationships, and parents and kids will have their relationships throughout their whole lives. So it is not too late. If your kids are, 5 or 15 or 25 or 55, it's not too late.
Some of the kids, older, some even younger, are dealing with issues that sometimes might be drug related, or it might be I don't know how much, maybe bullying might maybe not happening in school, but it also could be out of school. Do you deal with that too?
I do. There's a lot of depression and anxiety going on. So
The phone number to call her is 602-448-4266. She does free 30-minute consultations. We've got our lines open here for everyone to get entered in to win. It's an assessment. It's a $400 value free to you or anyone you know. I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show at 602-277-5369.